Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it is time for the final word on Leeds versus Burnley. New look, new vibe, midlife crisis time. But listen, before we get into the video, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave any comments. I will reply to as many as I can. And of course, get your notification bells on. And I just want to shout out the members of Just Joe FC. You know who you are as well, and you too can become a member. Just make sure you check it out in the description below. And yeah, enjoy the video. Let's see if we can get to 300 likes this time. At least 300 likes. Make it happen, guys, and enjoy the video. Peace. Heard it right. It's going to be Just Joe, and it's going to be all about football. He showed descent. Van It's in! Yes! Yes! I don't see many more appearances from Pablo. Fantastic inaugural guest. I had to pull out the big guns.
And this is the moment when I take a stand. I've got big.
So then, guys, man, Leeds were absolutely rampant at Turf Moor. I was concerned. I was worried. It was going to be a tight affair. So I thought, well, how further from the truth could it get? We absolutely turned Burnley over in their backyard against a team that supposedly can defend really well, and Leeds just ran riot. And it could have been more. Could and should have been more. Absolutely fantastic. Leeds cement their place in the top 10 for me. That's us boxed off. Look, the Brighton loss killed us. But you never say never. We've got 2 games. Tune up that European band. No, I think it's gone. But listen, it's a fantastic way to end the season. I'm looking at players like Klich coming in for Phillips in the last game and thinking, right, do we really need to improve in that area? I'm looking at Rodrigo. That's 3-2 now for Mr. Rodrigo. He looks on fire. Angus talking about everyone fully expects him to be on fire next season, and we know what it's like, second season syndrome under Bielsa. You don't get worse, you get better, and we can see shades of Rodrigo now, because them 2 goals that he took were sublime. He should have had a third if it went for greedy Tyler, but listen, this is a positive review because we won the game 4-0. But let's just have a look at the lineup initially. I fully expected Klich to keep his place, but obviously he's got a knock. Klich got cock blocked, and that means that he stayed on the bench. Calvin first, came straight back in. Calvin was Pete Calvin again. That ball for I think it was the 3rd or 4th goal. I don't know. There was that many. I don't know. But the ball was absolutely sublime out to Jack. Jack Harrison was immense yesterday, my man of the match, a goal and 2 assists. He now has more goal involvements from midfield than any single English player in the division, second only behind Fernandes in the overall charts for goals involvement from midfield. Absolute baller, and rightly so, should be in that England setup, or at least be considered. But I understand it, because England have an abundance of talent in them positions, but carries on in this vein, and he's certainly going to be up there. I thought he was great yesterday. But yeah, back to the lineup, guys. I'm all over the shop. It was a positive performance, as I say. I fully expected Klich, based on last week's performance, for him to keep his place and Roberts to drop out. That proved to be the case. Rafinha came in on the right. Dallas obviously moving into midfield alongside Klich. Phillips in for the injured Klich. Harrison on the left. And centre-back partnership of Strauch and Llorente. La Pared, I've now decided to call Llorente, the Spanish wall. Right back, Ayling. Alioski left back. We'll talk about Alioski a little bit later on as well. And in goal, France's #1, Ilian Meslier. Disappointed not to see Pablo on the bench. I've heard it's a knock. I'm hoping it's not going to keep him out of that West Brom game, because there's a little part of me next Sunday wants him to start that game just so we can say ta-da, and I'm going to be lucky enough to be in that ground to be able to do that. But let's get on to the game itself. As I say, the first 15 minutes, I'm always worried when Leeds aren't up to it in that first 15 minutes, because it's one of them where you think, it's not going to go our way today. We can normally tell from a Leeds United performance within that first 10-15 minutes what kind of performance we're going to get. We stood up to the physical battle from Burnley. They didn't really create much. Dwight McNeil looked good, I thought. Of course, Charlie Taylor looked good. Other than that, there was no standouts for Burnley, even in that first 15 minutes. Obviously, Leeds say, people say Leeds have no plan B, but Sean Dyche basically swapped Vidra and Wood for Rodriguez and Barnes, so it was like for like. I mean, where's the plan B in that? Just change the strikers. change the strikers, we'll be all right. But yeah, like after that first 15 minutes, Leeds grew and grew and grew and got better and better and better. And, you know, when you think about a game, you know, some games you look at, say, Brighton, for example, and you think that game could have gone on for about 5 games and we'd have never scored. I firmly believe had this Burnley game gone longer, we could have won 10, 12, 13, 14. You know, that's how good it is. And people talk about burnout. Them absolute burnout nonsense, as my friend Rob puts it. There's only one team yesterday that looked like they were burnt out, and it were Burnley. Leeds didn't stop. You know, we had Karen Carney on Match of the Day last night. I wish someone would have picked her up and said, Karen, didn't you mention about burnout? Because they just never seem to stop. And we took it personal as a fan base, and it certainly seems like the players have as well. Because you've got Cooper saying stuff on Twitter, you know, with the meme of Rodrigo where he goes, you know, we've got Klich saying stuff in post-match interviews. This team will not burn out. This team will go to the very end. This team gets better and better. And I cannot wait for next season already. We had Gianni at peak Gianni levels yesterday. To be honest, every time, and I said this on the All Leeds TV watch-along, every time it drops to him in that area and he's on his left foot, I can back him. It's when he has to think about it or he's on his right foot that it normally ends in the stand. So I thought he was going to get a goal yesterday, genuinely, because he kept popping up in that areas. And obviously we know Rafinha cut it back and it ended up going out for a throw. His shot was an absolute a turgid one. I mean, even for the second goal, he's had an effort at goal that Harrison's managed to flick and put it in the back of the net. But it was pink Gianni yesterday. Obviously, we've got the issue with Dwight McNeil. I don't know what's been said. I mean, they're trying to say it's got racist connotation. I don't know what they're talking about. He was blowing raspberries. I've done that to my son to make him laugh. You know? I don't know what it was. And when Dwight McNeil stood over him and gave him loads in his ear after he was, you know, feigning injury or whatever it may be, he was obviously unhappy. I said on the watch, do not get involved into that battle with Gianni because you will always lose. You'd be able to beat me in footballing ability, but if you're going to get involved with him in a to and fro in childish, you know, playground sort of banter, you're always going to lose. And as soon as Dwight McNeil made that challenge and stood over Gianni, he was substituted, and Gianni gave him what for in that respect, you know, and made him look silly. But Gianni is always going to win that battle. You know, in the early parts, what frustrates me as well, like, I've got it on my notes here, that Tarkowski double back cracker on Llorente, man. If he'd have kept hold of him, that would have been a WWE move. No card. Calvin Phillips makes one challenge in any game and he always gets carded. It's really frustrating. I don't know what it is. But yeah, Burnley yesterday just had no cards. Like, it was a little bit frustrating to see because I think Tarkowski at least deserved one. But anyway, that's yellow card. Let's talk about some goals. Let's talk about peak Matthias Klich being back, the absolute don that is. People said he was done. People said he was championship level. People said he should be sold. The guy's an international footballer, and yesterday officially became the best Polish player to ever play in the Premier League. The most goals scored by a Polish player in the Premier League. Admittedly, it's only 4, and the majority of Polish players in the Premier League are Szczesny, Boruc, Fabianski, goalkeepers, basically. So it's not a hard list to top. But ultimately, yesterday, it became official. Klich is the best Polish player ever to play in the Premier League. But look, he was great yesterday. Pete Klich scoring a goal. Harrison was screaming for it on the left. Oscar was screaming for it. Give it left, give it left, give it left. And he knew he had that guy, Biscuit Wrists, in goal. You know, the solicitors, BP and F, in goal. You know, and he just, it was inches stuff, weren't it? Beautiful finish. Klich back to his best. He was back to his best against Spurs, and he needed a goal. He should have got one a bit against Spurs if it weren't for Lloris having a worldie. And today he got one, and he got us off to a flyer. Beautiful, beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. They had a chance not long after that as well. It dropped to Vidra. Second half, you know, we're leading 1-0 at half time. Bielsa's record at half time in the Premier League, and since he's come in, he has not lost a game when he has been leading at half time. You know, I said it on the watch on. People say don't jinx it, but stats are there to be broken, and eventually that will get broken. Just like when we never got beat at home, you know, that time when Wigan came and did us after we go in front, we very rarely get beat, and Wigan, you know, scuppered that. And there will come a time where when we lead at half time, we still lose games. But at the moment, it's not happening. And every game that we go in at half time, especially this season in the Premier League, we have not lost. We do not lose. You know, it's a great omen to have. Obviously, Vidra in the second half does get a chance, but Meslier saves it. Meslier was amazing again yesterday. He should be in that France setup. Not the under-21s, at least they're getting some experience off Lloris for when Lloris is ready to pass the baton on to, you know, Ilian Meslier. He was fantastic yesterday. And every time any player goes through on goal, I am not worried. You know, if players were taking strikes, if we look at the opposite goalkeeper, BPF, he couldn't really do out about any of them yesterday. But I remember his time at Leeds. Whenever anyone would have a shot, I was concerned it would go in. You know, not even just through. When anyone's through on goal against Kiko, for example, you were always worried that they were going to put it in, or Kiko was going to come out and meet them and take them out, take a card, get himself in a dangerous position, and we would concede. Meslier, there's none of that. You can shoot from wherever you want. You can be through on goal one-on-one, and he'll stand up to it and he'll save it. You know, he's an exceptional goalkeeper. They had that chance not long after. Obviously, we go up the other end. And something I just want to remember as well while I look at that beautiful man, Rafinha, over there. I always get that wrong. He's over there. He's there. He's there. The first goal, when you watch that back, obviously I didn't see it at the time because you're caught up in the emotion, but it actually starts from Rafinha and Klich making a challenge on the edge of our box. And we go up the other end and Klich puts it in. You know, burnout, yeah. It's all about that burnout stuff. But let's talk about that second goal. Obviously, Alioski has a chance at goal and Harrison flicks it in and makes it 2-0. You know, we've now got a positive goal difference as well, guys, +4, which is absolutely unreal. I was joking yesterday about us catching Tottenham if they were to lose the game. We're only 3 points behind them, but they've got a goal difference of +20. But you won't put it, you know, you won't put it against this Leeds United side to score 16 in the next two against Southampton and West Brom. We're just better against teams that are below us. Of course, I'm hopeful of a 100% record in the next two, but you never know. But yeah, the second goal came from Harrison flick from an Alioski miss hit. Third goal, I mean, the ball from Harrison is beautiful. It's eye of the needle stuff. Rodrigo is already on the turn. He's already 3 moves ahead of Tarkowski and me, and especially BPF. He's probably 10 moves ahead of BPF. But as the ball's being played from Harrison, which was eye of the needle stuff, he's already turning. He's already turning. Tarkowski and me are like, what's he doing? And then you know he's in the box and he's dinked it over BPF. Absolutely unreal goal. 3-0 up. Fourth goal, obviously, Rodrigo in hot form now, 3-2 for the record signing. People said he was a waste of money. People said he was no good. People said, you know, just take the hit, move him on. Nah, we don't need a strike. I've been banging the drum for Tammy Abraham. We don't need it. We've got 2 there. It's going to be some fight between them 2 next season for the top spot. But this was an absolutely beautiful move. It was a really great team goal. The best thing is when it goes into midfield, Dallas chests it down to Calvin. Calvin's ball is inch perfect. I was on 90minute.com with Harry Saimu, Arsenal fan. Says you don't get the hype around Calvin. There's not many English midfielders that can do that on the first time half volley. It's an absolute beauty. Chested down from Dallas, bang, straight out to Harrison. Lovely way to pass into Rodrigo. And again, Rodrigo being 10 moves ahead of BPF, gets around and puts it in the back of the net, and it's 4 against a team that are great at defending, you know, against a Brexit ball Sean Dyche team. I mean, he actually came out after Sean Dyche and said there was not much in the game. He said there's not much in the game. He said this might sound mad, but there's not much in the game. No, it does sound mad, Sean, because there was. We were streets ahead, mate. Streets ahead. The stats might, you know, reflect the same, but we were streets ahead. The goals that we scored, the movement that we did, the play, the passion, just going from 1 to 90, as we always expect with this Leeds United side. It could have been more. Rodrigo could have had a hat-trick, but Tyler Roberts wanted a goal. He knew BPF was in there. Said, I'll have a go up. It'll probably go in. He'll probably dive out of the way of it because that's what BPF likes to do. But it wasn't to be the case. I was a little bit frustrated with Tyler because I was thinking, just lay it on for Rodrigo and he gets a hat-trick. Come on, man. Selfless. Don't be selfish. But it is what it is. We were 4-0 up. Can't really grumble, can you? Can't really grumble. Cemented that top 10 now for me. That's the least we'll get. That's the least we'll get now. Villa, I don't think will catch us there. I want to finish above Arsenal. We can still do that. We've got 2 games to do that. Obviously, quick turnaround. We've got Southampton Tuesday, and then we've got West Brom on Sunday. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know I did, and I hope you enjoyed the game. I know I did. You know what I mean? Now let's see if we can get to 300 likes on the video. That's going to be it from me. Smash the like, subscribe, leave your comments on the video. I will respond to them. And yeah, keep it locked at the Just Joe Football Show. Thank you as always for tuning in. Yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's perfect when Leeds United put 4 past any team. 4 goals, sitting pretty in the top 10. Newly promoted side. Not that far from beating Sheffield United's record, from being the best newly promoted side in Premier League history, all that jazz, you know. We've scored more goals from outside of the box than any other team in the Premier League this season. We are undefeated at home against the so-called ESL Super 6. That's what we do. That's what Bielsa does. And we'll just go from strength to strength. I, for one, can't wait for next season, but we've got the Euros to come and all that. It's football, football, football. Total football. We're so spoiled as Leeds United fans. Drink it in. Drink it in. Keep it in. Thank you as always for watching. Smash a like and I'll see you in a bit. Leeds.